In June 2021, a high schooler, Hodaka Morishima, escapes Kazushima in order to get away from his troubled home life to Tokyo. When his ferry to the city is hit by a rainstorm, he is saved by Keisuke Suga, who gives Hodaka his business card. As Hodaka struggles to find work and support himself, he meets Hina Amano, an employee of a McDonald's restaurant. She takes pity on him and gives him food. Later on, Hodaka finds an abandoned handgun in a waste bin he stumbled onto. After arriving at Suga's business location, he meets him there and his niece, Natsumi. Suga hires him as his assistant at a small occult magazine publishing company, where they investigate urban legends related to the unusual pattern of rainy weather in Tokyo. Hodaka sees the financial struggle Keisuke and his company is experiencing, so Hodaka proposes to start a business with Hina, with the ability of a sunshine girl. A job to clear the weather for events such as weddings and parties. They create a website to accept orders, and their business instantly becomes a success. However, when clearing the sky for the Jingu Fireworks Festival, Hina is shown on television and their site gets flooded with requests, so they decide to close their business. A detective with the police searched for Hodaka as his family filed a missing person report. They found out that Hodaka was caught using the gun on a security camera on a previous act of self-defense from men who harassed Hina and who also beat him. Officers arrive at the apartment where Hina lives with Nagi, her brother, and interrogate her while Hodaka hides. Hina realizes that because they have no legal guardians, with their mother having died recently, social services are going to take them into custody and separate them. Hodaka, Hina, and Nagi escape to a hotel. Hina reveals that every time she prays to clear the weather, parts of her body disappear. Hina prays for one last time and she disappears. Hodaka tries to find her, but has no luck in searching. In the morning, the police track Hodaka to the hotel room. Apparently, Hina's body is now up in the sky because she became one with the sky gradually after praying and praying. Nagi is sent to the Children's Counseling Center and Hodaka is taken to the police station. Having already fallen in love with Hina, Hodaka decides to bring her back to Earth and escapes from the police custody with the help of Natsumi. After her motorcycle is immobilized, Hodaka resumes on foot the Yoyogi Kaikan building to reach the shrine where Hina got her powers. Inside, he encounters Suga, who attempts to stop him. The police surround Hodaka, but Suga, now inspired by Hodaka's desperation to see Hina, helps him escape. At the rooftop shrine, Hodaka jumps through the shrine gate and is transported into the sky, where he finds Hina and asks her to leave with him, insisting that Hina let go of her worries about the weather and start living for herself. They both return to the material world and live on with their lives separately, as Hodaka is sent back to his hometown while Hina remains in Tokyo. After years of continuous rainfall, Tokyo becomes submerged underwater because no remaining sunshine girls have prayed to clear the sky. Hodaka graduates from high school and returns to Tokyo, meeting Keisuke, and lastly, finding Hina to reunite again with her. The main revolving theme that can be found throughout the movie is selfishness. The theme is particularly focused on the actions of the main character, Hodaka. Throughout certain events in the movie, choices made by Hodaka had shown selfishness in his nature. Several instances include when he left his hometown to live in another city without the approval of his parents, when he shot the gun for self-defense just to save Hina and himself from being harassed and beaten further. His desire of saving Hina almost made him take a human life. Lastly, when he chose Hina over the stoppage of unusual rainy patterns in Tokyo. The selfishness of Hodaka's character has led to various consequences that either benefits or gives him detrimental effects. Another theme that can be found in the movie is the weather. The weather affects how the feelings of a person are for each other. For instance, the weather changed to rainy whenever Hodaka worried for Hina. This can be seen when Hodaka tried to protect Hina. The weather also clears from being rainy to sunny whenever Hodaka sees Hina in a happy mood or whenever he just sees Hina. For instance, in the ending where they both get to reunite, the weather clears because Hodaka got to see Hina again. The weather theme is also more focused on Hodaka than the other characters in the movie. What if you had to choose between a person you love or the safety of an entire place? That was the moral dilemma that I think was the hardest for Hodaka to choose. Because in human nature, there is always a feeling of empathy present within us. But because of his more dominant nature, selfishness, that gets in the way of how he chooses his decisions. We see that problem in almost every choice he made, from leaving his hometown to defending himself from the men who beat him by shooting a gun. Leaving his hometown was a rash decision because he never told his parents about leaving their hometown. He didn't think about what the parents might think after not finding him for several days. Although it was good for him to live independently and experience new things, The persons that took care of you and who raised you must at least know what you're going to do in the future. You can't just keep that decision to yourself, because although some parents may not get along with their children, they still have to know what you're going to do because they still have sentiments about you. You can't just take that away from them. Another is the selfishness to take a human life. You can't just take a human life. That life does not belong to you. Even in self-defense, another way must be done differently to de-escalate a situation like what happened to Hodaka. Lastly is the ultimatum of choosing between the safety of Tokyo or Hina. The selfishness present in his character led him to a decision that was emotionally gratifying for him, because he got to bring back Hina from the sky. But at what cost? The submergence of an entire city? His selfishness led to dire consequences that could be seen at the end of the movie. But is selfishness morally bad? In some cases in the story, selfishness becomes beneficial to Hodaka. Is it really morally bad to be independent from your parents, to save yourself from imminent danger, to choose love over a city? Although his actions may have led to numerous consequences, it was also somewhat beneficial to him. Selfishness may be seen as morally bad because of self-centered thought, but choosing what your heart desires isn't morally bad, right? That was also the case for Hodaka, choosing to follow his heart despite the consequences he may face. To others, Hodaka may be seen as foolish and stupid, to choose love over safety. However, his persistence to fight for the desires of his heart clearly shows his intentions to be with Hina. But who knows? Maybe, maybe not. But one thing is for sure, love can surely influence people. It either helps or destroys us. All I can say is that love is a double-edged sword.